Namaste, doston. I know you're all wondering a number of things like why isn't Manisha joining me here in New Zealand? What is happening in the Delhi High Court? And when am I coming back to India? You also asked to see New Zealand. So in this video, I'll answer all those questions and I'll show you around where I grew up here in Auckland, New Zealand.
Take me back to the time of 85. Yeah. Take me back to the time when you were mine. You were mine. Dream a little harder, love a little louder. 85.
Welcome to Beachdale Crescent in Pakuranga. I grew up on this street and in this house. This is the park I used to play at with my friends. A lot happened on this road. I broke my collarbone on this street when I went flying off a homemade bike ramp. I'd made this bike ramp, and just before I was about to go flying off it, my dad yelled out to me, "Karl, put on a helmet." And thank God that I did, because I flew off that ramp and I landed on my head and then my collarbone. So yeah, my dad saved me basically. My dog died on this road after getting hit by a car, and I met my 3 childhood friends here. I grew up in the 90s, before the internet, before cell phones, so all us kids had were our bicycles, and we'd just roam the streets visiting friends' houses to pass time. And near my house, there's this bakery, and I would come up here as often as I could to get my favorite food. Still my favorite food. A mince and cheese pie. I'd eat this at school. I'd eat this as often as I could. And yeah, this is all it is. This is like traditional Kiwi food. It's pastry, and inside you have mince and cheese, or steak and cheese, or butter chicken, or mince and curry. Like there's so many different flavors of filled pastries, I guess. I know a lot of people are wondering, Karl, why doesn't Manisha just come to New Zealand and you guys live here? Or she can just stay there during your blacklisting. And it's just not that simple. Firstly, Manisha doesn't want to leave India. She has no desire to live overseas. And secondly, she has responsibilities in India. We have parents to look after. She has office to attend. And we have marriages happening as well. I know a lot of people think it's really easy for Indians to just leave India and go for a life in the West, but it's really not. And Indian culture is just so strong and so rich that I imagine it's a heart-wrenching decision for an Indian to leave India. And that's what I've seen through my wife. I could tell her, like, Manisha, come to New Zealand. And she would come. But that's not right. She shouldn't be forced from her home like that. And I wouldn't want to make her so miserable. She'd be miserable here and she'd just be longing to return to India. That's what I know about my wife. And I would never do that to her. Through me, she can take a New Zealand and a Dutch passport, 2 of the strongest passports in the world, but she won't do it because she'll lose her Indian passport and Indian citizenship. She'll lose her rights in New Zealand. She won't be able to vote. She won't be able to do a number of things. So she doesn't want to do that. And I think that says a lot about her. And if you've ever watched her videos on YouTube, you'll already have known all this about Manisha, why she won't come and live here in New Zealand. So it's not simple, and it's been made even more complicated by COVID. Us just meeting is a complicated thing. If Manisha wanted to come here to New Zealand, we have very, very tough entry rules, and we literally have a lottery system to gain the golden ticket to enter into New Zealand and go into managed quarantine. I'm not kidding. Once a week, we release about 3,000 quarantine rooms, whatever it's called, and 30,000 people go to the website and they pull names out of a hat basically and say, yeah, you've won. You can come to New Zealand and meet your family or do whatever you want to do. And even if Manisha gets that room in quarantine, she wins the lottery, guess how much it costs to go into quarantine here? 2.8 lakh. I'm not kidding you. So it's very difficult to get into here, into New Zealand. And also our immigration system is a total mess. It takes months and months and months to get a visa. And like I said, Manisha hasn't taken any New Zealand passport or anything, so it's even more difficult. Likewise, if I leave New Zealand to go and meet Manisha somewhere nearby India, I still have to get back here to get my visa, right? That is going to be difficult with this lottery system. But I'm probably going to take this risk, and Manisha and I will hopefully meet soon. We're just trying to work it out at the moment. I can't wait to see my wife again. Back in the 90s, it was kind of like Stranger Things, but the music was changed to grunge. Me and my mates would ride down here to Highland Park because it had a movie theatre and an arcade. Gaming consoles weren't so popular back then, so we had to pay to play Street Fighter 2 and Mortal Kombat. We spent all our money playing games, which wasn't very much money because back then parents were really stingy. And then we'd come and hang out under this bridge and we'd just spend time playing around the creeks and the waterways. My friend had a slug gun, so we'd go out hunting water rats. Another friend had a 50cc motorcycle, so we'd ride that around. The rules for all this was much looser back then. New Zealand was a different place. We didn't lock our front door, for example. So as a young boy, it was a really, really fun place to grow up. Now back to the present day, and it's a lot gloomier. Manisha is in the Delhi High Court. We've petitioned the Delhi High Court saying that without access to her husband, 2 of her fundamental rights have been violated. Our first hearing came really fast. It was on the 26th of July. Then our next hearing was scheduled for the 23rd of September, but that got delayed, and it's been delayed until the 25th of November. And all the arguments are going to happen in court. And once that is done, then I'll be able to speak and tell you the real story with proof. So I want to thank you for supporting us and for being so patient with Manisha and I. This is my secondary school. I spent 7 years here and it was the worst 7 years of my life. It's an all-boys Catholic school and I really hated being forced into religious studies. So I rebelled the entire time. I'd wake up every morning and dread going to school because the kids there weren't like me. I was heavily into music, especially metal, and I had long hair to boot, but there just wasn't that scene at my school. The kids were different. It was all about sports. Whereas if I looked at the kids at the local public schools, they were more like me and into what I was into. And eventually I did make friends with the kids at Howard College, and life got a lot better when I found my group as a teenager. As soon as I got out of that damn school, I was in heaven. My life turned around. I went to university, and there I could just focus on what I wanted to do, you know? I could just study music, film, and computers and just deep dive into that stuff. That's how I've always been, very one-track minded, very focused, and I've always done what I think is right and not what others tell me to do. So yeah, university was absolute heaven for me, and that was a real turning point after so many bad years at this school. Now the question that even I want the answer to: when am I coming back to India? We're in the Delhi High Court and we're trying to get relief so I can come back as soon as possible. Through going to the Delhi High Court, we had to go to the Delhi High Court because The government had ignored us for so long. We have found out when my blacklisting expires. 22nd of February 2022. And when I saw that number, I'm like, that's so strange. What a weird number. 22nd of the 2nd, 22. Yeah, I don't know what that means, but I'm going to see it as a good omen. And bless my family. They're waiting for me in India. People are waiting for me to get back so they can get married. So this blacklisting has affected not just me, but probably more so Manisha and my family. Yeah. I'm just lucky that I married into such a strong and such a supportive family. People who will stand by me through thick and thin, no matter what. And that's what family is for. And they're not afraid to fight for me as well. So yeah, thank you to the Malik family, and I love you guys. And I want to thank you guys too. I want to thank you for being so supportive, for leaving lovely messages of support for me and Manisha. We really appreciate it. It has been the hardest time of my life, and this probably will be the hardest time ever of my life, I hope. I feel like I'm in a Bollywood movie. That level of stress, anxiety, and just madness. So I can't wait to get back to India and remain there and tell you guys the story of what really happened. So please continue to be patient. Thank you for everything. And Jai Hind.